Hey there, my name is Mike Munzing. I'm with CRESTLINE Funding. Each week I put these videos together for you to bring you the latest on what's happening in the mortgage industry, what's happening in real estate, both our nation, locally, covering the full gamut. Once again though, it's time for the foreclosure report. In this case, it's for the month of April 2010. We're going to look at all the different aspects of what's going on. The numbers have come in for California. This is a California specific report. But first, as I always like to do, I want to cover the rate sheet for the week. You can print that off my website at www.mikemunzing.com. Really quickly, the rates are doing great. You can take a look at this, print it, take it to your open house, talk to your clients about it, have them call me, have them go to my website, fill out the online application so we know what they can do. There's lots of different changes in the programs. There's lots of things for them to be aware of and things that you need to be aware of. So print that out, take a look, we'll talk about that. As I mentioned, each month I like to bring you the latest information on the foreclosure report put out by Foreclosure Radar. Now, Sean O'Toole is the CEO over at Foreclosure Radar, and he does I feel, the best analysis and tracking of all the properties in California and what's going to foreclosure and how that's working out. I'm going to bring up the report up on the screen here. Now, this is for April 2010. He's got all the charts on here. I'll bring charts to you as well here shortly. But as Sean said, let me read what he says currently. There's been a fairly marked increase in cancellations, which I'll show you that on the charts in a bit here. But it says the steady rise in cancellations leads us to believe that loan modifications and short sales are gaining traction. I'd caution, however, that cancellations also occur due to filing errors and extended postponements, which require notice of trustee sales to be refiled. Now, the interesting number is that 14.6% of the notice of trustee sale filings were previously canceled. So that's a very interesting number there. What I want to do real quickly here is bring up, and I haven't done this for a while, but I want to bring up the whole process, the California foreclosure process. This is a real simplified view of it, and I'm going to look at it up here. If you look at the far side, you'll see a little box there, notice of default. We'll run through it real quick. It starts with notice of default. Folks go delinquent. They file the notice of default, the lender does, and then approximately anywhere between 90 and 180 days, the lender will file the notice of trustee sale, which is basically giving the homeowner, giving the borrower, the date of the sale of the property and when that property is going to be sold at foreclosure. Now, once that goes out, three things can happen. You can follow it over here. One, either some things are going to change and they're going to be able to cancel that, and that's been happening a little more often. I'll show you later. Or the property is going to be sold to a third party, or that property or the loan is going to go back to the bank that originally held the note. That's the three options. Once again, cancellation, the property will be sold to a third party at the steps of the courthouse, or it's going to not be sold to a third party. They don't have any bidders, and it will go back to the bank. That's basically what happens there with the procedure. Now, let's jump into, let me grab these here, all the charts. Let's jump into the charts here for the month. This is for the state of California, the overall charts. Each month I put these charts together so you can see how they all break down, and you can watch the trends and where they've been over the last year and a half or so. First is the notice of default. Now, the notice of defaults are at about 27,832 for the month of April. That is a fairly large drop from last month. Last month we had another spike for a couple of months. It's dropped about 16, right at 16%, and it's that once again is that first stage. So we're seeing a little bit of a slowdown in the first stage. Next, once again, as you recall from the chart, we have the notice of trustee sale. The lenders have been waiting either 90 to 180 days, depending, and that actually is down as well, about a little over 10%, and that is at a number of 30,578 properties had the notice of trustee sale filed on it. So Next, once again, we got those 3 steps. We've got the actually the REOs that go back to the bank, and that number is also down a little bit, about 5.5%, at about 14,517 properties. You can see the interesting chart there. It has been real up and down, up and down. Every month is a little bit different, but this month down about 5.5%. Next is the sold to third party. Now that has been, as you can see the chart here, it's been overall heading up quite a bit. Some of you realtors are working with investors who are getting down there, getting to the steps of the courthouse, buying those properties. People are getting their money together because you have to buy those all cash. And they've been doing that. That is up 6% at about 4,275 properties in the state of California. Once again, as they call it, picked up at the steps of the courthouse. Next is the one number that has been really shooting up. That's that third section there, the cancellations. That has been shooting through the roof there at about 18,492 properties that have just shot right up there at about 11.39% increase from the previous month. That has been pretty much a consistent trend higher. Very interesting there. Let's take a look at, in the month of April, the properties that are actually scheduled for sale. These are the ones that are still scheduled for sale, just haven't hit the steps yet. And that is at about 137,741 properties. It's only a decrease of about 2.7%. Next, we have the bank-owned. This is the properties that have already been taken back, but it's the inventory that the banks, as far as Foreclosure Radar can tell, the properties that the banks are still hanging on to. And that would be about 90,295, pretty much flat. 0.26 increase, effectively flat. And finally, the last chart is pre-foreclosure. These are the properties that the notice of default has been filed, but they've not gone to notice of trustee sale. Those build up over time. There's a time limit of a year there, but those have built up over time. And you can see them fluctuating across, down very slightly at 3% to a level of 152,770 properties in California, still kind of in that notice of default stage where they haven't filed the notice of trustee sale. Okay, I hope that information was helpful to you. It's always good to see possibly what properties are coming down the line. We need to monitor what's happening with our home values, and we can, well, ideally we can tell that from the foreclosure numbers. As I've mentioned many times before, there are so many interventions happening right now by the federal government, by both the state government as well, but it does tend to kind of obscure the numbers and what's really going to be happening. We know there's a lot going on out there. One number I did want to bring to your attention from CoreLogic within the last couple of weeks was that 11.2 million properties, or 24% of all the properties in America, are currently in a negative equity or underwater position. It's a lot of properties, and it's slightly less than there were at the fourth quarter of 2009. I think that's because we've had a little blip in prices, which obviously makes the underwater look a little bit better. But we've got a lot coming at us. We've got a lot going on, and they do not seem to be loosening up too much on the loan programs. But once again, let's get those buyers ready to go with these properties. Hey, we're about 3 weeks out is my election. Once again, June 8th, I'm running for 73rd District Central Committee. So if you see me on your ballot, that would be wonderful. That's Aliso Viejo, Laguna Hills, Laguna Niguel, Dana Point, San Juan, Capo Beach, down to San Clemente. If you know folks living out there, I did put an email out to you if you're a realtor in the area within the last few days, just saying, hey, if you could spread the word for me, that'd be fantastic. Once again, my name is Mike Munzing. I've been a lender out here for about 20 years. Been more politically active for the last couple of years, trying to protect our industry, protect your profession, protect my profession. We've had a bit of a hard time with regulations and just trying to do what's right out there. Why? Give me a call anytime. 949-689-5626. You can find me at Facebook. You can find me on Twitter. I'm here for you. I'm here for your buyers. Send them over to my website one more time, www.mikemunzing.com. We've got a great online application there. Love to get them ready to go. Get that approval working quickly for you. They can send over their information as well. Have a great weekend. Should be beautiful. Summer's coming. It's fantastic. God bless you. God bless your family. God bless America. I'm here for you. Take care. Bye-bye.